We have a Secretary of Defense that testified to Congress in May that the Afghan National Security Force could withstand the Taliban advance. We have chairmen of Joint Chief, who the Commandant is a member of that, who's supposed to advise on military policy. We have a Marine combatant commander. All of these people are supposed to advise. Potentially all those people did die in vain if we don't have senior leaders that own up and raise their hand and say, we did not do this well in the end.
Well, that man, Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, is now sitting in the brig, and he faces a potential court-martial for calling out the sheer ineptitude of this military decision-making. Now, while he's in jail, the craven leaders he called out peddled excuses for their failures in Afghanistan on the Hill today.
I recommended that we maintain 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. I also have a view that the withdrawal of those forces would lead inevitably to the collapse of the Afghan military forces.
Yes, my assessment was back in the fall of 20, and it remained consistent throughout, that we should keep a steady state of 2,500, and it could bounce up to 3,500, maybe something like that.
Well, in the end, did they agree with what the young man was saying? Joining me exclusively are Lieutenant Colonel Scheller's parents, Kathy and Stu Scheller. Stu, your reaction to your son's imprisonment while our military leaders were, playing the kind of blame-shifting game on Capitol Hill today, essentially saying, no, we would have left troops there. That was our recommendation. Your response?
Our son called for accountability. And throughout the hearing today, I don't feel like they accepted accountability. So I'm extremely disappointed. And it's no coincidence, in my opinion, that they put a gag order on him and they put him in prison the day before they had to appear in front of senators and tomorrow in front of congressmen. I think that is fairly an act of cowardice. And our son, we're very proud of our son. Our son is a hero. He fought for this country for 17 years. He's been on 5 deployments. He's taught countless men and women. The Marines thought him exemplary. They have fast-tracked him in his career. And until 30 days ago, he was a hero to the leadership of the Marine Corps. But on August 26th, when 13 of our servicemen died at the Kabul airport, something inside of our son snapped. He was angry. And he, in principle, he's a very courageous and principled man, always has been. But when that happened, he had to go and ask his leaders for accountability. He had many active duty Marines, and there are many veterans out here that he works with suicide prevention that were asking, was it all worth it? And he called for accountability, and within 12 hours, they removed him of his position. And after that, it's been downhill from there.
Kathy, your son's in military prison tonight. As a mother, when you watched General Mark Milley ask point blank if he would resign, I want your reaction after we play his answer.
As a senior military officer, resigning is a really serious thing, and it's a political act if I'm resigning in protest. My dad didn't get a choice to resign at Iwo Jima, and those kids there at Abbey Gate, they don't get a choice to resign. And I'm not going to turn my back on them. I'm not going to resign. They can't resign, so I'm not going to resign. There's no way.
Kathy, he said resigning would be turning his back on the troops. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, our son said to him, if you thought this was a bad idea, were you willing to take your rank and put it down and say, I will not put our men and women in peril? He should have dropped that rank. He should have resigned and said, I will not do this to our service members. But he didn't do that, did he? And let me explain to you why the accountability is so important. during our war, the last 20 years, we have lost around 7,000 troops. We have lost somewhere, depending on the data that you want to look at, somewhere in the last 20 years, between 30 up to 100,000 troops from suicide. They need that accountability. They need to know that what they did mattered. So many lives can be saved on the backside by being held accountable. And I say take that rank and put it down and stand up for your other servicemen members. Stand up for my son. Stand up for Stu. Stand up for America.
Stuart,
basically,
go ahead.
Basically, they left hundreds of Americans in Afghanistan. Well, they're leaving our son tonight in prison. And that's not okay with us. And I challenge the American people, is that okay with you? Is it okay with you that a 17-year infantry officer that put his life on the line to protect you and protect your children, is it okay with you that he is put in jail and is facing a court-martial? He didn't murder anyone. He didn't sexually offend anyone. He didn't do drugs. He asked for accountability. He spoke his truth, and they couldn't handle it. It's an embarrassment. It's shameful. And if it's not okay for you, Americans, we're asking you to stand up, write your congressman, call your congressman, demand accountability. And it's not just accountability for the botched Afghanistan withdrawal and Americans left behind. It's accountability. The only one that's being held accountable for this botched situation is my son by the generals.
Senator Cotton
today asked.
Yeah, I want to play this, actually.
I know.
You took the words out of my mouth. Senator Cotton asked Defense Secretary Austin about your son's confinement today. Watch.
Marine Colonel Stuart Scheller posted a very critical video on social media last month, and he was relieved of his command for that posting. Media reports today indicate that he is being held in pretrial confinement. Why is that?
I don't have any specifics of what caused him to be held in pretrial confinement, and I would certainly ask the Marines to provide that insight.
Kathy, he's the Pentagon chief. This young man is in jail, in military jail. Are you surprised that Austin seems to have no idea what's going on, or pretends he has no idea what's going on?
I could not believe those words came out of his mouth. And if he doesn't know what's going on, shame on him. Shame on him if he is totally unaware. A lot of other people are aware, but we are not going to let them take their dirty little secret and hide it away and put our son, so he can't speak, put a gag order on him, take him away from his freedom of speech so that they can hide their little secret. Oh, I don't know, huh? No, I don't know anything about it.
Well, Stuart, Joe Biden campaigned as a president who was going to bring accountability and transparency to government. That was a big part of the pitch. Also restoring dignity to our national conversation, bringing us all together as a country. That was a big part of his campaign against President Trump to win this election. And, he's commander-in-chief now. And the counter argument to this, to play devil's advocate, is your son violated military code by going public with criticism of his commanders, according to the technical military law that exists on the books. And your reaction?
I get that Lieutenant Colonel Scheller caused problems for the Marine Corps and the military by breaking the chain of command. And he knows it. And it will be talked about for decades in the future of what Stuart has done with social media, et cetera. It's a problem for the Marine Corps. But while Stuart broke the chain of the command, I contend General McKenzie, General Milley, Secretary Austin, they have broken the chain of trust and confidence of the American people. And for that, they should be embarrassed.
They should drop their rank.
They should drop their rank and they should resign for that. Because today's hearings showed that they aren't going to accept accountability for the mistakes they made. They wanted to blame everybody else, the Afghan government, the Afghan military, the weather, whoever.
For getting off.
But I'm telling you, they should resign because
well, shouldn't they be fired?
It's past their time.
I mean, be honest, resign.
Well,
shouldn't they be fired?
You know, I got to tell you, you and I both know Joe Biden isn't going to fire him.
So I'd like to just bring this back to my son. We have to get word out to the American people as to what's going on for him. He needs our help. His family needs our help. And we're asking the American people to write their congressman and say if it's not all right with them, then we need you to say we want them to resign. We want Stuart Scheller released. We would like him to have his pension reinstated, his hard-earned pension. We would like him to have his medical benefits that he is going to need after the deployments that he has endured. But if they won't do that, at least release him and let him out of the Marines. He has asked for that. And that's what we're asking for. And we're asking for people to support his family by going to pipehittersfoundation.org. There is a donate button up on the top, and you can hit who do we donate for, and you can find our son, Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller, on there. His family desperately needs funding for
No, this is
to live.
Legal fees.
This is outrageous. This is the legal fees. We're gonna work on that. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is a travesty. What is happening to your son? Beyond travesty.
We would like to think this will be over in days or weeks, but we have been, our expectations have been leveled by Stuart's legal team that the Marines could drag this out for years. Their objective would be, and by the way, pre-trial confinement is a nice, comfortable word.
Why? Is he a flight risk? Is your son a flight risk?
Absolutely not.
No, he loves his country. He loves America. He loves the Marine Corps.
So your theory is they don't want him to talk. They're worried about what else he might
Correct.
say. That's why.
They don't want him to talk, and they have not even brought charges on him, and they are holding him in solitary confinement.
That sounds like
not
what
okay.
they did to some.
And if that's not okay with,
yeah, it's
it's wrong.
They seem to like solitary confinement lately. You know, all the human rights, civil rights folks used to say solitary confinement was cruel and unusual punishment, but they love using it as punishment against people they think are political opponents. That is absolutely disgusting. Your son's state of mind, Kathy, as a mom, what is it tonight?
I don't know. I can't talk to him. They don't allow him to make phone calls.
We talked to him for 2 minutes on Monday morning when he asked us to contact his attorney. He got one phone call.
We have had no communication with him.
This can't be our country.
And it's not like the Marine Corps is calling us to let us know.
Would this have happened under President Trump, Stuart?
No.
No, we would not have had the botched exit under President Trump, in my opinion. But I also, and so I don't think Stu would have done what he did. And if we would have been at this point, President Trump would have stepped in if generals were out of hand.
Yeah, well, this is a story that is not going away, sadly, but I bet the country is with you. Stu and Kathy, we'll keep in touch with you, and we'll get those postings up on social media on those other issues that you were mentioning, the help for the family. Absolutely.